Welcome back, people. Arsenal 4, Chelsea Football Club 2 is about the greatest expression of my reaction to that game afterwards. I mean, everyone can understand, especially Arsenal fans who follow the club intimately, who understand that we've been, sold hope, and I won't say sold a dream in relation to it being a false dream, but we've been sold hope by the sense of performances before the international break, the performances, the way in which we set up, the way in which we came back in games where we really were up against it, but we showed character. A young team with an average age of 23. Mikel Arteta seemed to be building up something quite phenomenal with this Arsenal team against all odds, against the strength and depth of the top three other sides that we're competing with, and even the sides, in and around us. If you look at West Ham, they've been performing consistently, in the Europa League and in the Premier League. If you look at Tottenham, they've got world class players more than we've got. They've got Kane, they've got Son, they've got Romero, who's sort of solidified their defense. So you could say that Arsenal were overperforming before that international break with all those wins and all those, pulling rabbits out the hat, essentially, at that time. So coming off the back of such a bad post-international break turnout, 3 games, 3 defeats against teams we shouldn't lose against. We all love Vieira, but we shouldn't be losing against Crystal Palace, especially not 3-0. And I know they're giant killers in the sense that they've beaten in recent years City 3-0, they've beaten Liverpool away as well with Townsend with that screamer. They've done things like that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't warrant it to be an acceptable result to lose against Crystal Palace, be it at Selhurst Park or the Emirates. So essentially, losing at Crystal Palace, losing at Southampton against Southampton at St Mary's, losing at the American Express. In fact, we lost against Brighton at the Emirates Stadium at home. So coming off the back of those 3 horrible results, no one would have thought, sizawubuya senze lento siyenzileyo namhlanje. And so for me, fundamentally, I believe that today gave me, I was talking to my brother during the game, and perhaps we should do a live watch along soon, talking to my brother during the game and telling him, I don't know what I'm going to say in the fan camp because I've been completely surprised from the lineup. From putting Ben White at right back, he's done it before, but the way in which he operationalized it today seemed for me different to how he normally does it in relation to we don't have personnel at right back. Cedric was on the bench. It doesn't seem to have a knock or anything like that. It was a tactical change. So as a result of that, I thought to myself, is he trying something different? And essentially today, he sort of deployed Ben White in the same kind of tactical fashion that he deploys Tomiyasu, in the sense that he tucks into the midfield and adds an extra number. And I think the plan was clear from the lineup and probably from the first 15 to 25 minutes that Arteta wanted to overflood the midfield, and Chelsea couldn't cope with that with only two isolated between Loftus-Cheek and Kante, who were both, in my opinion, anonymous, by the way, along with Romelu Lukaku, who wasn't, on form at all. And I mean, he hasn't been on form at all. And but someone can be off form the whole season, and it only takes Arsenal for them to light up, again. So today that didn't happen, and so Arteta really surprised us tactically today. Deployed Ben White in the Tomiyasu role, and he also gave Nuno Tavares that shot of confidence to say, "Boy, let's go." And if you look at Tavares' game, for a young man who comes from the Portuguese league, coming into Arsenal, coming into the Premier League, the intensity is much higher, the expectation is higher at Arsenal, given the stature and magnitude of the club. But also, he has not put himself in a shell. He's always expressive, he always runs with the ball, but I think there's that young man tendency where he overruns with the ball. There was a time in the first half, he got a run down the left, bombed down that flank, but he should have passed and released the ball earlier than he actually did. And if he were to get those little things, right, he can be a quality left back and a quality backup for the likes of Kieran Tierney. But obviously, the light is young, he's coming up, and obviously, only games can give you that kind of experience. And I think the Arsenal and Arteta in particular needs to just trust the boy, and then things will get better. And just my final point before I let you guys go enjoy the post match euphoria of Arsenal winning. I wanted to make a point around how the front four, today was relentless on the press. The guys were pressing when we didn't have the ball, and when we had the ball, the guys were giving each other options. Because in the last three games, Arsenal have been, we've been controlling possession. I think against Southampton, we controlled possession. Against Brighton, we played even better, but we weren't effective enough because we were hiding. The players were hiding. The players who are more offensive were hiding. But today they came out, and I think it was a master stroke tactically from Arteta to put in Smith Rowe so that Smith Rowe can be able to drop the shoulder there and keep, Reece James quite busy instead of him having to bomb up and down, our left hand flank and Chelsea's right hand flank. And so I think those things worked well. Saka staying up on Alonso nullified Alonso's offensive threat at the same time, because Alonso knew that if he bombs up too wide or too far up, Saka can be able to punish him, and Arteta has really built a team that can be quite good on transition. So today, I think I'm shocked. I cannot explain it beyond just the few things that I've said right now. I'm shocked. I'm surprised. We did not come off on form. We did not play badly at all. We were bad defensively in the first half. I think we were horrible. Every time we scored, they looked like they're going to score, and they actually did. But in the second half, I think we were a bit assured and we looked a bit more comfortable. And I think El Neni did the job that he was supposed to do when he was put in to do, which is to show up that back three or back four first, and turned into a back three later on in the game when Suarez came on. But essentially, I think Arteta was a genius today in relation to being brave enough to do what we wouldn't have thought to do. Keep Suarez there, but knowing that Suarez doesn't have the skill to be able to drift in and invert himself as a right-sided as a right back and give us an extra man in midfield. Instead, he wants to go wide and give us width, and that is not essential for today's game against this kind of opponent. So come on, you Gunners, and I really hope we take this further and we do something, and the top four is on. Like, comment, and subscribe.